Hey guys, welcome to Brookby Lodge's Training Tip Tuesday. I'm Lauren and I'll be taking you through today's session. First things first, I just wanted to have a quick chat to you about training methods. Now, there are about 1,001 different ways you can train your dog. And I can guarantee you, not one way will work for every dog out there. So it's all about trial and error. Find out what works best for you and your dog. Here at Brookby Lodge, we're a huge fan of positive reinforcement. Basically put, that means rewarding the good behaviour and ignoring the bad behaviour. So your reward can be something like favourite toy, treats, or affection, just depending on what your dog will work for. Today we're going to be working on something pretty basic, and that's your sit command. Now, before we start training, just a couple of things I want you to think about. First, and most importantly, is about what command you're going to be using for sit. Now, it needs to be different from your wait, your down, and your stay commands, and you need to make sure that everyone in the family is using the same command when you're training your dog. Personally, you'll see me use today a closed fist. I bring it up to my chest, sit. Alright, let's get started. Today we have my dog Arrow. Now Arrow's already been trained how to sit, so he's going to show us how it's done. Just something I want to mention to you beforehand is it's essential when you're training to have your dog on a lead. That way if he gets distracted or starts to wander off, you can get his attention back on you just by a simple pull on the leash. Arrow, just like that. So when your dog's trained, this is what your sit's going to look like. Arrow, Arrow, sit, good boy. And so when he sits, we give him the reward straight away and tell him he's been a good boy. So this is Chopper. Chopper's just a young puppy, so he hasn't had much training yet. Now, when we're teaching puppies, it's essential that we keep it short and fun, and you always want to finish on a good note. Now, because he's so young, what we're going to do is we're going to teach him to sit first, and then as he gets older, eventually, we will add the sit command to it. So to ask him to sit, what we're going to do is pop him down. We're going to get his attention back. Chop, chop, chop a cup. So we're going to use the treat to bribe his head back. Sit. Yes, good boy. And now if your dog just continues to back up without sitting, it can be quite useful to do this exercise against the wall. Good boy, Chopper. Good sit. Good boy. Good boy. And just like that, you're going to finish on a good note. Good boy. Alright, so this here is Kauri. Now Kauri's not very old and he hasn't had much training. He's still under a year old. Very bouncy, very excited about what's happening with life. So again, this is why we have them on a lead to keep their attention. Now, Kauri's got a really bad habit of jumping up. So something just that you're aware of, if they do jump up on you, we're just going to ignore them, because what they're wanting is attention. As soon as you talk to them, pat them, praise them, they're self-rewarding. They've got what they wanted and they'll continue that behaviour. So if he jumps on you, you're just going to turn away and ignore him, and eventually he's going to grow out the behaviour. So we're going to get his attention. Kauri, if you have to, show him the treat and sits. And so that's not what we want, so we're ignoring the bad behaviour. Kauri. So you're keeping the treat nice and low so he doesn't want to jump up on you for it. Good sit, Kauri. Good sit. Good boy. Kauri. Sits. So it's essential if your dog likes to jump, just remember to keep the treat really low and push him back onto his haunches. And that way he's not wanting to jump up at you to get the treat. Something else that we haven't covered today is if your dog is really stubborn and not wanting to sit, or he's not quite got the idea, something you can do is use your opposite hand just to guide his bum down. Kauri. So basically, we'll say Kauri sits. Good boy. Good sit, Kauri. Good sit. Now just like with Chopper, we just want to teach him the command first, and then we're going to add the action to it afterwards. So eventually, Kauri will be sitting like a pro as soon as you say sit. Now this is Blue, one of our day stays. So we're going to try the same thing. Get his attention, Blue's sit. Yes, good. Now this is quite common. So he's jumping up because he wants to have the treat. So everyone says Blue, sit. Good boy. Good. And so we're not rewarding the behaviour we don't want, we're just ignoring it. So if he wants to treat, he needs to sit. Good boy. brave dog. Now here we have Honey, who's very excited about this and just wants to have a sniff around, which is fine. Something really important when you're training is you want to have their focus. Trying to get them to do a sit when she's pulling on the lead like this is never going to work, and you're just going to end up frustrated and angry at your dog, which is not the point of the exercise. So we're just going to get her attention. Honey, honey. Sit. Good girl. And this is where having them on a lead really helps, because if they are distracted and wanting to sniff around, they can only go so far before you can remind them to come back to you. Honey, sit. Good girl.